everyone, it's Laura, and I've been away for a while. I meant to come back sooner, but life just got away from me. So I looked it up because I wasn't exactly sure when I last posted a video, and it turns out it was November 22nd. So that reestablished exactly kind of the timeline of what happened at the end of last year, because the 21st was the Friday before Thanksgiving here in the US, and that is the day that I officially lost my cat, Oliver. He got sick about a week and a half before, and he rapidly deteriorated despite multiple emergency vet visits and medication, and I was gutted. So that hit me really hard, and the only reason that I had a video to put out was because I had pre-filmed things and I edited them and put them up, but I didn't have it in me to film anything else for a while because I was just very torn up by losing my sweet lover boy. If you've seen some of my other videos, you probably have seen him either directly in frame or behind me on the bed. He was a Velcro cat and I just loved him dearly. So I had a little bit of a break where I spent Thanksgiving with my family, then I focused on work, and I felt like I was ready to come back. And I think I even filmed a wrap-up for November, or I don't know how far behind I was, I haven't looked, but I filmed a wrap-up and I was going to be editing it, and then a lot of stuff happened. I had a flood in the basement of my home. And that took a while to deal with. First with getting any standing water out, then making sure that the carpet downstairs dried properly, then inspecting the drywall, calling in any experts, the plumber to actually fix the problem that caused the flood, and then trying to take preventive measures to prevent it from happening in the future. Then I ended up having a rough couple of days because I had a bat somehow appear. I think it must have come from my attic at some point. I've had neighbors that have had them, but it just appeared suddenly here in my bedroom one day when I was working and freaked me out. And I tried to follow the different instructions. I left the window open, but it was December here in New Hampshire. And of course, it was basically the coldest day of the year when that happened. And it was single digits supposed to get down to 0 Fahrenheit when that happened. So I couldn't sleep here. I didn't want to sleep in the room with the bat anyway. But I basically turned off all the lights because apparently they don't like light. It freaks them out in their senses. Left the window wide open, barricaded underneath the door with a towel, hoped that they would fly away. They didn't, so I had to deal with them the next day, and then it was just basically the holiday season. So the end of the year was a wash for this channel. And then the beginning of January, I got fully engrossed in the heated rivalry phenomenon, and I was adamant that I didn't want to watch the show without having read the books. And I wanted to so bad to just skip to the heated rivalry book, but then I said, no, I need to read them in order. And I'm very thankful looking back that I did, but I really didn't like the first book that much, so it was kind of hard. But then heated rivalry, I was fully on board, and then knowing that Ilya and Shane were in the long game, but that was the last book in the series, and that I had a few more books to read in between them, it was a little rough. But then basically after I binged that series very quickly, and I had to do it all on audiobook because here in the US it was impossible to get a physical copy for a while. I had them on back order. I had basically like a book hangover, where I couldn't get myself interested in reading anything else. And so I ended up revisiting my fanfic days and went down a whole rabbit hole of heated rivalry fanfic on AO3, which was crazy because I haven't immersed myself in that world since college and the Harry Potter days. So that was unusual. But as such, I didn't really read a lot in January. I think I managed 2 or 3 books outside of the Game Changer series. And then February also didn't do much. And then finally it was starting to come back to me in March. And it was harder and harder to come back after being away for so long. And I ended up in the end of March, I finally felt, what you girls doing? I finally felt ready, based on what I have going on the rest of this year, that I'm a cat lover at heart. I know that I couldn't be without a pet cat for long. So I ended up putting my name on the waiting list for adoption and unexpectedly got a call basically the next day. And there were 2 kittens that were 5 months old. I wasn't anticipating getting kittens. I thought I would be more of a young adult type person and that everyone with a little kid wants kittens and that they're easy to adopt. I'd rather adopt an adult cat. But it turns out that the adoption agency I went through, they're volunteer run and they just basically try and give the cats to homes as they come up. So it was very unusual from how I've worked it before. So I basically met the kittens, and then I took them home with me the next day, basically. So that was pretty unexpected how quickly that happened. So instead of getting back on the videos, the last month and a half at this point has been just adjusting to life with 2 rambunctious kittens. That means that I have to kitty-proof things I didn't even know I have to kitty-proof, because this bookcase here, I didn't have a problem with it with Oliver, but now one of the cats, I have a dresser over here that is off camera that I don't want to show you because it's really messy, but it has like a jewelry stand with earrings on top of it. It's kind of messy and I don't want a cat on it. So one of the kittens is intent on using this as a launching pad to get to the dresser. So I have to constantly catch that. They like to try and chew wires. It's been chaotic. Fun, but chaotic. What do we have here? What's the lump? What's the lump? So that's just made time fly by really fast too. But now I feel like before it goes too long, I really want to get back into making videos. And I ended up deciding that this would be the first one back because I basically need to rearrange my bookshelves. And I figured this would be a good video that should be quick, but I can still explain where I've been and what's been going on with me. And I do hope to eventually catch up. I think, like I said, since I didn't read many books in January, February, or March, I should be able to lump those all into a first quarter wrap up, hopefully. And it will just be going back to the fall for whatever I haven't covered. I had hoped in December, it would have been a year, to do a video about my physical TBR. That I'm just gonna have to do at some point here. I've made progress though. See, there's space there. Right there, sorry. That's where I'm at. But let me now explain what I'm going to be doing in this video. All right, so this is the current state of my bookshelves. As you can see, kind of running out of space. So what my plans are is, since I've gotten these bookshelves, I've always had this row of nail polish, and I didn't think that would be an issue for very long because it was awfully convenient, because I kind of went down a rabbit hole a few years ago where I collected a bunch of nail polish that was easy to display, easy to use, and for a long time I didn't think I would have an issue because how the heck could I fill up these bookshelves? It would take years and years and years. Well, that came sooner than I thought. So I want to clear the nail polish off these shelves. Where can I put them? Here's the current state of my TBR shelf, and eventually I'm thinking I can move all of my manga over here, or maybe not all of it, but at least hopefully the Full Metal Alchemist, and this row and over here are my manga. The light novels I want to put down where the nail polish is. So that's my current plan, but obviously I can only start moving some over here right now. I have plans to read some more of these, so I'm hoping to soon at least have a full shelf, but that will help clear up some space over there. But again, back to the nail polish. I found this on Facebook Marketplace. It has 4 shelves. It's relatively tiny, all things considered, so that works out perfectly because I have 4 little display stands for nail polish over on my bookshelf. Problem is I was running out of room of where to put them. Then I realized behind my door here is a perfect space. So now all I gotta do is move that mirror, which I don't know if it comes across on the screen. It doesn't look like it. It's dusty because I never use it. So I'm gonna move that somewhere else where I'm more likely to use a full-length mirror and put the bookshelf here. That's my plan, and I'll come back once I've done some of that rearranging. All right. Oh, there's one of the kitties, Buttercup. inspecting my job. So I've moved everything over and just have to figure out if that will work. The dry cat food, might as well keep it there for now, but have everything moved over here. So now the shelves are clear and I'm going to work on reorganizing. I think I'm going to move romance up there where some of the manga is. Gonna move the light novels and the manga down here for now. And then I have some more romance down here. So I'm hoping to put that there and we'll see how that goes. So here is the state of things for now. I'm getting overheated and need a break, and it's late at night because I have to do everything late at night, apparently. That's when I get my second wind. So I have yet to move the Full Metal Alchemist manga. I probably will soon. I might have to rearrange some of the shelf height up here at some point because, as you probably saw in my rearranging, it's really tight fit for this shelf, and so I don't want it to be as tight. But then if I lower this shelf down, then Emily Wilde and Heartstopper I don't think will fit there. But maybe those can go up on that shelf. I don't know, because I was hoping that shelf was going to be another fantasy that kind of continue on from Brandon Sanderson and Wheel of Time. I don't know. And then I had the bright idea over here that the new Illumicrate Percy Jackson that I got, it would fit in there, but that one isn't tall enough. And then I thought I was going to be able to move my nonfiction up here, have kind of classic stuff and then nonfiction, but that didn't work. So now I have my little bit of sci-fi and just other stuff that I haven't categorized. I don't know what the Night Circus and Ninth House, if that's just general fiction, or I don't know. So I haven't figured that out. But I have room to work with, and I'm sure as I'm trying to fall asleep at night, I'm going to just be staring to see how I can fix this. So there's Princess Donut for those Dungeon Crawler Carl fans. I don't know. So I think that's where I'm leaving it right now. I will let you know about any future updates. All right. So it's the next day and I have made a few changes which make me happier, not quite content with how things are, but I like it better than where I left it last time. So I ended up moving the Emily Wilde from down here and the, what is that called? The Discovery of Witches, that trilogy. That was over here, up there, to continue with the fantasy shelf. I did move the Full Metal Alchemist manga down to my TBR shelf. And then I moved the Percy Jackson from this shelf down here. And I moved some of this stuff over here. So now I have kind of more of a middle grade young adult span, which works for me. And I still have a little room next to Scythe for Thunderhead. And I forget what the third book is called when I do eventually read them, in anticipation that I will continue to like the trilogy. And then I ended up moving the classics back up to the shelf and then put the sci-fi over here. and then just the general, is that contemporary fiction? I don't know, over here. So that's kind of where things stand now, and I may make more minute changes, or as I get more in specific categories, I'll probably readjust. But for now, I'm happy with this much more than I was where I left things last night. I'm just mostly happy that the Percy Jackson Illumicrate editions are now able to stand up somewhere. Sorry, I'm not getting out the other light for this, but that's where I'm going to leave this video for now. And I hope to get other videos out to you quickly. The wrap up for the first quarter, a updated version of my physical TBR, and just a bunch of other things that I have that I would like to get out. But hopefully this was interesting enough and someone will watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!